friends, and welcome to another video. So, I mentioned in my full day of eating that my next video was going to be a food, fitness, bulking Q&A. The day that I was filming my last full day of eating, which I'll link in the description box below because if you haven't watched it, you should. I asked on my Instagram for you guys to ask me questions, and there ended up being some really good ones that I wanted to go in depth into, and I didn't have time to do that in that video. So that's what this video is gonna be. It's just a Q&A dedicated to those questions that I got asked. A lot of them were very related to each other, so I might just do like umbrella answers to those, but I don't want to drag this out because I know Q&As, especially like informational ones, can get a little boring and I tend to ramble, so I'm gonna try not to ramble and let's get to it. Okay, so first question, and I got asked this a lot, so this is gonna be one of those umbrella ones. How can I improve my metabolism and be able to maintain my weight on higher calories? I think there's a lot of people out there who come from a past of disordered eating or have dieted for a long time or just unknowingly were not eating enough for their body and ended up damaging their metabolism a little bit or slowing it down. I've talked about this in other videos, but each individual has kind of like a metabolic ceiling, and that is based on genetics, activity level, your body composition, all of that kind of stuff, and that's for everyone. So me, for example, I have a pretty high metabolic ceiling. My food can get pretty high without me gaining weight. And some people's are higher, some people's are lower. However, you can lower that metabolic threshold if you are under eating consistently. So whether that's like a prep or a diet or, like I said, disordered eating, you can lower that. And that is possible to increase. To do that, you would increase your calories slowly week to week. So maybe adding in 10 grams of carbs and a couple, like 2 or 3 grams of fat each week. And weigh yourself, monitor it closely. So 1 week, if you gain a pound, you're not gonna increase your food. Whereas a lot of people, sometimes you're increasing food and losing weight if your metabolism is suppressed because it speeds up. So then you could add a little bit more food, maybe 20 carbs and 5 grams of fat or something like that. But it's just something you're gonna increase your calories slowly until you reach that metabolic threshold, eating a good amount and maintaining your weight. If you go over that amount, you will start gaining weight. So I hope that makes sense. Next question. How do you follow an eating schedule so that you get the timing right where you're hungry for your meals? If I'm being totally honest, I don't really get super hungry for my meals. You guys know I eat a lot of food right now. So for me, it's kind of like I make a schedule so that I kind of like know when I have to eat, but it's not out of hunger. Just because I am in a caloric surplus, so I'm eating more food than my body like needs. Your body kind of like adapts to an eating schedule. So for me, for example, for the last couple years, I've eaten 5 meals a day. I have breakfast, lunch, a snack, dinner, and another snack before bed. And that's just what my body's used to eating, and I notice that when I don't follow that eating schedule, which I don't always, life happens, but I do feel kind of like weird and out of whack. Like that's just when my body is like, oh, it's time to eat. And right now I don't necessarily have those cues, but when I'm like in a maintaining phase or like the beginning of a bulk, I definitely do notice that my body's just used to that schedule. So I would say your day-to-day schedule and try to make a meal schedule around that, and your body will adapt to it eventually. And then next question, how do you prevent eating from becoming emotional or out of boredom, and then justifying it saying you're on a bulk? So honestly, like I said, I kind of like set up my days. I like follow an eating schedule. I feel like some people are like meal people and some people are snacker people. I've never been someone who likes to go and like snack on stuff. Like I've never been someone who like goes and gets like picks at a bag of chips or something. Like that's just never really been my thing. It is easy like when I go get more untracked meals per week than I should, or someone gives me a treat, or I end up YOLOing it one day. I'm like, oh, I'm bulking, it's fine. And like to some extent it is fine, like bulking is the time to do that, and I've talked to my coach about this a lot, and he's like, balance when you're in a bulk versus when you're in a competition prep or a serious cutting phase is very different. And right now is the time for me to be more lenient with food. But I would say, like, to prevent that, like, emotional eating or eating out of boredom, if that's something you struggle with, setting a schedule for yourself and, like, sticking to it. If you are tempted to go snack or overeat, just be like, why am I doing this? Am I actually hungry? Because, like, if you're bulking and you're actually hungry, like, it's fine. Go eat more. You know what I mean? I hope that answers that question. Okay, next question. This is something I also get asked a ton, and it says, what should you do when the macros on MyFitnessPal don't match up with the calories? So if you guys use MyFitnessPal to track your food, pretty much every day you could zero out your macros, so hit your macros perfectly, and the calories won't say you hit them perfectly on top. It'll either say you have like 150 calories left, or you went over your calories by 60. And a lot of people get confused what that means and why it does that, because macros are composed of calories. So technically, your macros and your calories should match up perfectly, and the reason for that is because a lot of food labels and like food packaging and stuff, they can round the calories, they can subtract net carbs, so that subtracts from calories, and that leads to an inaccuracy and a discrepancy in the calories versus the macros. So when that happens, you want to hit your macros. That means you are hitting your calories. It might not look that way on MyFitnessPal, but if you hit your macros, you are technically hitting your calories. Okay, next question. Do you care about how much sugar and what kind of sugar you eat? Also, do you care about eating only whole grains? What impact does that have in regards to fitness goals? So I think I actually talked about this in my full day of eating. I don't track sugar. I don't see a need to. I think if you're living off of cookies and ice cream and Pop-Tarts, that's a problem. But if you're not, like, there's very healthy things that have sugar, like fruit, for example. A banana has a lot of sugar. On days where I eat a couple of bananas, does that mean I'm eating unhealthy? No. And I think it's also very good to treat yourself, and if you're craving something that has sugar, eat it. Otherwise you're just gonna keep craving it. So no, I don't track my sugar. I don't care what kind of sugar. I think for me, I like to eat in a way that makes me feel good, and I think that that's the most important thing. So if you're eating so much sugar that you're like breaking out and feel lethargic or shaky or whatever, like, that's not good. Just eat in a way that makes you feel good, you know? Mentally and physically. Whole grain, I don't care about that. Again, eat in a way that makes you feel good. How much of an impact does it have in regards to fitness goals? I'm not gonna say none, because I don't think if you're getting all your carbs from Oreos, you're gonna have the exact same physique as you would if you're getting your carbs from like oats and rice and sweet potatoes. But I don't think if you're eating a moderate amount of each that it's going to impact your fitness goals. Like kind of how I've answered this whole question, you really need to go by how you feel and how certain foods make you feel. So if you see my diet, I eat a lot of cereal that's not whole grain. I eat pancakes, I eat ice cream, and I also eat a lot of sweet potatoes and rice and oats, and I kind of know my body and like know how much of each like I can handle and what makes me feel good. And so for me, I like that balance that I found for myself during the bulk helps me keep my sanity while also feeling good. The next kind of umbrella of questions that I'm going to answer pertains to how to adjust your macros when you're bulking, because I got asked this a million times. So I guess first and foremost, how should you start going into a surplus when you're starting a bulk? Like, how many calories should you add? How many of each macro should you add? And that is totally individual to where you're starting and to your body. So if you are ending a prep or a hard diet, you're not gonna go immediately into a surplus. And that's what we will call reverse dieting. Honestly, my pet peeve is when people say they're bulking, but they're not gaining weight. You're not bulking if you're not gaining weight. You're not bulking if you're not gaining some fat. Now you can keep fat gain to a minimum, like I will talk about, but you're gonna gain muscle and fat when you're bulking. So if you're coming out of a hard cut, you're going to reverse diet, which means kind of like I talked about previously, building your metabolism up from being suppressed back up to maintenance calories. And then you will keep increasing slowly as to get into a bulk. If you're starting at maintenance calories, you will just slowly be adding calories from there. Now, how much you add depends partly on your body. Some people gain weight a lot easier than other people. Some people gain fat a lot easier than others. So it's hard for you to put on size, whether that be muscle or fat. You're gonna be able to increase your calories by more. And it depends on how rapidly you want to bulk. So it really just depends on your body, but I would say the best way to monitor that is just weigh yourself consistently. When you're bulking, obviously your weight's going to be going up, but you don't want it to be going up too fast. So some weeks your weight might go up 1.5 pounds. Some weeks it might not go up at all. So I would say kind of if you're doing your bulk by yourself and you like lose weight over a week, obviously you need to increase food. If your weight maintains over a week, you probably need to increase food. If you are gaining over like 1 pound in a week, then I would say like hold things steady. But you just kind of have to monitor how you're feeling and also monitor how you're feeling physically, because you don't want to be walking around feeling super lethargic and gross and whatever. So then you might want to hold food steady too. So yeah, I guess in summary, I would say you're gonna need to adjust your calories continuously throughout your bulk. So you're gonna keep needing to add calories as your body adapts to that. But initially starting by adding like 200 to 500 calories, just to minimize fat gain is best, and just to keep track of your weight and your macros and adjust things accordingly throughout. Okay, next question. How often should one increase weights or reps in the gym to build solid muscle? So there's no like set amount. Some days I go in the gym and I'm like, oh my God, I feel strong as hell. Other days I go in the gym and I'm like, why does everything feel so heavy? So I would just say go into every workout with the intention of really pushing yourself. So some days you might be able to pick up dumbbells that are 5 pounds heavier. Sometimes you might have to stay the same. I wouldn't say that there's like a set amount of weight or reps that you need to add. I would just say to always be striving to add a little bit more. And another question I got that I thought was really good was, should one do cardio during a bulk, or will it be harder to cut afterwards if you did cardio on your bulk? And my answer to this is different for two different groups of people. So if you're a competitor and you have to go into a hard cut after, you should not be doing cardio during a bulk, because yes, it will be. You're gonna just have to add more cardio and cut back food on top of it, because your body's going to be very used to doing cardio. So you're gonna have to do more and more and more and more. So I would say no, don't do cardio during your bulk. For someone who is bulking and cutting for lifestyle reasons, I think cardio is very healthy. Now I would say to do minimal cardio, maybe do like 15, 20 minutes, like 4 or 5 times a week, or a couple HIIT sessions a week. So you shouldn't be going to the gym and doing like 45 minutes of cardio every day. That's not gonna help you. You're just gonna have to eat way, way, way more. And it will be harder to cut. But I think it's very good for your cardiovascular health to do some cardio. And that's one thing where with like bodybuilding, like it's not necessarily a sport that's about like health. It's kind of about like bringing your best package to the stage. And so that includes right now, not doing any cardio. You know, that might not be like the healthiest thing in the big picture. So I'd say just keep cardio minimal if you're someone who just trains for lifestyle stuff. Yeah, that'd be my advice. How many exercises do I do per workout? My workouts range from 6 to 8 exercises, and I do 2 to 5 sets of each exercise. Okay, and then last question. Advice for college students trying to lean bulk with dining hall food. This is a good one, because I actually ate in the dining hall for a really long time. I think every dining hall has healthy options. And one, it's way easier to be lean bulking in a dining hall than it is to be like cutting. So I think if you track macros, you have to get pretty good at like guesstimating macros and sticking to simple things. Like pretty much every dining hall is going to have like rice and chicken and even like a burger patty and salad and stuff like that. Like you can get stuff that's pretty easy to track, even if you're not like weighing it out. And then also lean bulking, when your calories are a little bit higher, you can fit some of that other like dining hall type food in there once in a while if you feel like it. Also just like bringing around snacks with you to class and stuff. That's one question I also got asked, is like, what are my favorite snacks? And you guys see them all in like my full day of eating, like my pre-workout and pre-bed snack. But in terms of like stuff when I'm on the go, things like higher calorie protein bars, they're not my fave, but they're a really good option. There's like granola, those little cereal cups where you could bring packets of protein powder. Instant oats, that's another thing you could like bring to the dining hall or to class with you and put some protein powder in there. Those nut butter packet things. There's like Lenny and Larry's cookies. There's so many like fruit and nut butter, trail mix, things like that. And if you're lean bulking, then you could just get like more calorically dense things. That is going to wrap up this Q&A. I hope you guys thought it was helpful. I thought there was a ton of really, really good questions in there. I definitely want to start answering more of your questions because I like teaching you guys things that you actually want to know versus throwing out random bits of information, which I like doing that too. Comment below and let me know what you guys want to see in the future. I am starting work a week from today, so you can let me know what you want to see when I start my job and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. So comment, share, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.